Warriors T-Wolves Game 1, fading Paul Skeens, and Mark Zinno goes back to the Royals White Sox. All that will be coming up very shortly, but to address the elephant in the room, boy, was it not a good Monday for yours truly. I apologize to all who tailed as we somehow found a way to lose them all. And Mark Zinno, if you would allow me the floor for a moment. Now, if you're a regular viewer of this program, you know that this show often begins with Mark Zinno going on a long rant. Well, today it's going to be me.
Because... I prefer soliloquy.
Oh, soliloquy. All right, there
yes.
He is, Zinno. And I know that you feel my pain. By the way, Mark Zinno looking ready to go into battle today. As you
we will be entering, we are leaving for our annual training today. Oh. So...
And we salute you for it.
Yes, we will be in different locations for the next 10 days, 12 days, whatever it is.
My God. Do you know what I do not salute, though, Mark Zinno? I salute you. I salute your
The Denver Nuggets?
Well, actually, I don't really care about that game. Yeah, I do not salute the Boston Celtics three-point shooting. Zinno, I've been in this business for a while. I've made a lot of bets, won a few, lost a few, whatever. I've never felt that I've been actively trolled by a team that I bet on. That was until last night, when I wagered on the Boston Celtics team total over. That was this show's best bet.
Yep.
They had 61 points at halftime.
Yep.
I thought about reaching out to you. I didn't. I was like, and saying, hey, all we need is 50 points from the Celtics in the second half. Doesn't sound too bad. Well, we got what? 44?
5.
Between, that's 44 because they landed on.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the number of missed threes. It was 45.
Yes. Well, yes. They had more missed threes than they had points. More missed threes for the game than they had points in the second half, plus overtime. My write-up, you've talked about this on the program several times in recent days, Zinno, where you reference the one way that this play might go wrong. And when I was writing up my analysis at WT.buzz/BP, I noticed my entire first two paragraphs were all about the Celtics are going to get a lot of attempts from three in this game. Watch for them to get a lot of attempts. And then I said, well, you better talk about whether or not they're going to make them. And I said, the only way the Celtics don't go over this team total is if they go really ice cold from three. And based on their regular season matchups with the Knicks, it's very unlikely that they go ice cold from three. Mark Zinno, would you like to inform our fine viewers who may have been in a coma on Monday what happened with the Boston Celtics three-point shooting?
Well, the easiest way to describe it is it was horse shit. They missed a NBA playoff record, 45 three-pointers. So, you know, I always talk about if there is a way to have some sort of historic level beat, it always seems to happen to me, right? Again. And you know, WagerTalk put out a video on their social media yesterday, and you know me because I'll clap back. If you want to jump, I'll clap back, right?
I like hiding behind you.
You know, people are like, oh, this play was a loser because we used our best bet. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. It was an absolute loser because the way you handicap is let's just predict a historically bad performance to happen, and we'll be on the right side of this thing. I mean, it's ridiculous, you know? I mean, it was funny because you and I were texting back and forth. I'm like, we still got a shot at OT. We still got a shot at OT. I think we're going to be okay. We got a shot at OT. 5 points in overtime. God.
A minute into overtime, I texted you. I said, I am now rooting for double overtime.
Yes.
And I still don't know if we're going to get there. I was rooting for triple overtime, to be honest. Anyway.
I mean, we had a chance, I think, go 108.
We did. All right. Monday was Monday. Monday sucked. Tuesday is Tuesday. Hopefully, it's going to be a lot better. It is $5 Tuesday at WagerTalk.com. I am still finishing my plan that I'm going to have. Maybe yes, well, it is perhaps. But let's get to some plays for Tuesday.
I would just like to say one more thing, though. You need to work on your anger and your rants. You don't have enough. You need to get a little bit more. What's the word here? Pissed. You're very mild in your rants. It didn't feel like a rant. You just felt like it was just like whining, which is par for you because you're kind of a bitch.
Now I'm pissed off. I swore on the air.
I do.
I didn't appreciate that. I didn't appreciate that one iota. Chicago White Sox. They're not very good. We understand that. You know what? I will say this. If you tuned into yesterday's show, Zeno and I again swept the
Swept
double
the double play.
That's something we're doing a
Two and
lot
one.
over the last
2-1.
week.
2-1.
Yep, we keep doing that.
Elusive
So let's talk
3-0.
about. And yesterday, your half of the double play was on this White Sox Royals matchup. You cashed the first 5 under. Pretty easy, I would say. Royals kind of made it a little interesting there in the bottom of the 5th. I know you were probably cursing them. Today, you are looking at the same matchup, White Sox Royals, but a different play. And you will be extolling the virtues of one of my nemesis, Seth Lugo.
Yeah, good old Seth Lugo, who I tried to jump on the bandwagon with you that he was going to have some level of regression. No, he's not.
No. Name the AL Cy Young the Seth Lugo Award. It's over. He's won it.
Yeah.
Greatest pitcher of all time.
Well, a couple of things here. I'm going to, once again, break Brian Power's golden rule.
You shouldn't lay 1.5 with the home team because they might not get that last at bat.
Well, I'm going to do it here again. I'm going to lay the 1.5 with the Kansas City Royals today with Seth Lugo. Why? Well, Seth Lugo made 3 starts against the White Sox last year. He went 3-0. He has a 0.79 ERA. He only gave up 15 hits and 3 walks in 22 and 2/3 innings. The White Sox batted as a collective team an opposing 192 against him. Seth Lugo, I think, has the deed to the Chicago White Sox in his back pocket. So I feel like Seth Lugo will have a very good get-right start. Once again, we are playing with fire here. I will tell you the things that could go wrong.
Oh, no, don't do this.
We are playing with fire here because it's the Royals lineup that can't hit. But they are getting a little benefit here. As last night they faced a good starter. Tonight they're not going to face a good starter. Schoenberg, he's got a 4.91 ERA, a 1.36 whip. He's got 14 walks here and 6 starts. He's given up 7 bombs this year. That's the big thing, by the way, for Lugo. For all Lugo's virtues this year, in particular what he's done, he's got to keep the ball in the ballpark. So, we hope that he can do that against a White Sox team that doesn't hit a lot of home runs. Thankfully for Lugo, 6 of the 7 home runs have come on the road. So he is homer. He's got a 2.19 ERA. Royals -1.5 tonight.
That's interesting that you bring up he only had 3 walks against the White Sox last year, because walks are one of the issues I have with Lugo, much like I had with David Peterson. If you're putting guys on base.
Oh, I fixed the screen. Thank you.
Given the free pass, I was waiting for you to say that. My delivery wasn't as strong because I was like, Zinno's
I treat this thing like being at a red light and somebody is in front of me. When a light turns green, I'm like 1,000, 2,000. Go, hit the horn. Go, pay attention.
Dude, I'll tell you what. I have thought many times. That's enough about Seth Lugo. I've thought many times if I was in front of you, you would actually get out of the car and
No, I've never done that.
Beat me.
Never in my life. I have no time. I have no time for it. I don't have road rage. Here's the difference. Okay,
I've been on the phone with you.
What I have, okay, is an overwhelming desire for you to get the hell out of my way. I'm not asking you to break the law. Just get out of the way so I can.
Oh,
that's all I'm asking you to do. Okay, car is downtime. I have places to go. I have things to do. Being stuck in a car in traffic is near the very top of the list of things in this world I would like least, along being awake with a colonoscopy, a catheter insertion, okay, and a conversation with my ex-wife.
Okay. Owning a deed to guaranteed rate field or whatever they're calling it, the White Sox Stadium, that would be low on my priorities. I feel the Monopoly board, that's the one right after go. That's a bad stadium.
Baltic and Mediterranean. Baltic and Mediterranean is what you're looking for.
Comment down below with your least favorite MLB stadium you've ever been to. I would like to see that. I am genuinely interested in what the people have to say. That's a bad stadium on the south side of Chicago.
I've been there. It's actually, It's not Wrigley, obviously, but
yeah,
still,
it's not great.
Okay,
it's not great.
Go ahead, go on with your half of the dough.
All right, let's talk about. Thank you. Would you like to direct this show today?
Yes.
Don't answer that. We know what the
go on with the chlorophyll. Okay, go ahead.
All right, St. Louis and Pittsburgh. How about a little underdog, a little plus price on the program today? Zinno, I'm taking the Cardinals. Now, this may seem a little surprising to some, being that yesterday on the Power 5, I bet the Pirates as underdogs, and they have Paul Skeens pitching today. But guess what the Pirates did yesterday, Zinno? They lost. They blew an early lead, and they lose. I think it wound up being 6-3. It wasn't close. Here's the deal with the Pirates now. They've lost a lot of games in a row, okay? they at least 4 in a row now it is because they got swept by the Padres over the weekend. They can't hit, and they have a bad bullpen, as we saw again yesterday. Paul Skeens can only do so much. The Cardinals, Liberatore, he is right up there among the MLB leaders in FIP. This guy's having a good year. So I think Liberatore is going to do his job. St. Louis, better offense, better in the bullpen. Cardinals, Redbirds at plus price. I don't care if Skeens is on the mound. I don't care what's going on, with him. Let's take the Cardinals plus money. And I don't like
You're going against the stash. You're going against Livy Dunn's better half.
Yeah, I don't like the comments you guys are saying. It screwed me up. My breakdown.
If you're reading this comment, broke back Bryan below. The dangerous bottom scroll. There we go. Okay, let's get on to the show best bet here tonight. Since Bryan has now lost any capacity to do the rest of his job here on this show.
Cardinals plus 115.
You have Huevos going against Paul Skeens. You have Huevos.
I remember I was in Houston. I had a great week when I was in Houston, not just hanging out with my family, but I won every play that week when I was on the vacation. One of them, I bet the over in a Paul Skeens start. You said that exact same thing. You're like, you have some Huevos, so that play won easily. You know why? Well, the Pirates actually scored a lot of runs, but their bullpen also gave up a bunch. I'm telling you, when Skeens is not on the mound, which will be for at least 3 innings, the Pittsburgh Pirates are very, very bad.
Here's
favorite against anyone besides the Rockies.
Here's the other thing too. And while you mention this, because that is a typical Bryan Power contrarian play, and I know we talked about this before the show. You and you're more of it than I am, definitively, of a contrarian better.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea that you nor I bet the Knicks nor the Nuggets last night, and both of them won outright as contrarian plays. Nobody had both of those teams winning. Somebody might have had one. Nobody had both of those teams winning in game one.
No. I joked with you. I said, there's nothing that pisses me off more. Maybe there'll be a little fire, a little anger in the eyes here, Zinno, than when a contrarian bet comes in and I wasn't on it. And sure enough, yes, as we transition out of the NBA, I don't know anybody I didn't hear many people talking up either the Knicks or the Nuggets. Both of them erased double-digit leads in the second half and win outright. A shocking.
What does that mean for
Monday
tonight
in the NBA playoffs?
What does that mean for tonight? You know what it means? You know what it means? We have no freaking clue about the NBA.
That's certainly a
lead into our best bet.
Yeah. Yes, I will say this. Here in Cleveland, they are hitting the panic button with the Cavs. A lot of injuries. It feels though the Pacers are going to be a public dog tonight. Thoughts, real quick, off the win. They shot the lights out in game. The problem is, I don't know if Cleveland's offense is going to get better. I know Indiana's offense is not going to be as good as it was in game one. They shot 54% from 3 in game one. That's not going to happen again.
No, and they were shooting 68% for a better part of the first half.
Yes.
I'm waiting. Here's what I'm waiting for in this series. We were at 228.5 for game one. We're at 229.5. At some point, this thing is going to go too high, and we're going to bet an under. That's kind of what I'm waiting for. It happens inevitably in all these playoff series. I always look for this, right? What's the top of the market? What's the bottom of the market on a spread or a total, right? As things keep going down a certain path. Typically, it's easier to see with totals than it is with actual spreads. But, again, at some point, if this goes over again, they'll push this thing into the 230s, and we begin to ask the question, is this the top of the market for this number? Is it time to go back under? That's kind of what I'm looking for and waiting for in this series.
I don't like how that broke back Bryan is still in the scroll.
Well,
but that was
saddle up, cowboy. It's time to do our best bet.
All right, that was good. A good little soliloquy from you there. All right, our best bet is on Warriors.
More of a monologue.
Jesus Christ, you're difficult to deal with. All right, the money's coming in on the over. We agree with it. Golden State, from an offensive perspective, should do a lot better here against Minnesota than they did against Houston. Houston seemed just uniquely suited to stop Steph Curry. They did it in the regular season. They did it in the playoffs. But here they are. They advanced. Yeah. I know Minnesota was great defensively down the stretch. I talked about it. My biggest regret from the first round of the NBA playoffs, Zinno, was not betting the T-Wolves more in that series against the Lakers. I demand right now, in front of the Morning Wager audience and in front of God, you admit that I told you on the phone that I was so off market on that series that where I projected the T-Wolves should be game by game on the spread, that I was almost like, what's going on here? Is something gone wrong? I had the T-Wolves that said they should have been a favorite in all the games in LA. I did not have much regard for the Lakers at all.
Well,
so
no,
I wish I would have bet
didn't
Minnesota
either.
more. I wish I would have bet Minnesota more. They were a 5% play. It's my only 5% play so far this season in game 1 against the Lakers. I never played them again. That was a mistake. So I don't want to fade them here. What are we going to do? Golden State's going to be better. Golden State's going to be better offensively. Don't want to fade Minnesota. As you can see on the screen, it's up and over 209.5 here for us in game 1.
We make a lot of mistakes in the show. What can I tell you? I mean, you seen my record as of late?
Mine's not good either. 4 straight winning months, and right now it ain't going to be 5.
I will add to Bryan Power's wonderful handicap here. 3 of the 4 totals, the 3 of the 4 games went over this number in the regular season. The one that didn't, the Warriors shot 39% from the field and 28% from 3, and they were down by 15 in the fourth quarter at one point. And again, they were down by 15 in the third quarter. They came in a little bit of a run back, but Golden State never really got into this thing in that one matchup. Other than that, Golden State has also reached 100 in each of their other 3 matchups with them in the regular season. I told you I kind of liked back to Golden State's team total over 101.5, but it's hard to figure out. Like, we saw Denver just play a game 7, and you think that they're going to be in an emotional letdown spot. They come out and beat the best team in basketball. Now you think the Warriors are going to be in a little bit of a letdown spot, and who the hell knows? If they get to 100 this shot, I don't think the Golden State defense is up to the task, and they won't be as effective against the Minnesota offense, which I think is more competent than Houston's. That has clearly a better scorer than Anthony Edwards, and still has Julius Randle, and still has a bunch of other Mike Conley and a bunch of other players out there that can fill up the basket. Houston just doesn't have the scorers, so the Warriors' defense here is going to be the thing that really allows us to go over, because I think the T-Wolves easily get to 110.
Yeah, I brought this up yesterday, on Wager Talk Today with Andy Lang. Andy, now the new host. He'll be there every day on Wager Talk Today.
He's a fine man.
He is a fine man. Going into yesterday's game between the Nuggets and Thunder, road underdogs in game 1, coming off a 7-game series and playing with 3 or less days rest, were just 4-19 straight up, 7-16 against the spread if their opponent had 4 or more days rest. So it speaks to it's the old, team wrapped up in series early. They're taking on a team coming off the 7-game. Typically, it's a smash spot. It said it was a smash spot on Oklahoma City last night. Didn't happen. The trend says it's a smash spot on Minnesota. We'll go with the over instead here. We're going to trust the offenses to get it done.
By the way, good call by me last night on the Knicks +5 in the first half. Because the game script that I said wouldn't happen absolutely happened. Yeah, the Knicks were down by 15.5 and came back and won again in game 1.
I don't know. I don't know. It was a confounding evening in the National Basketball Association.
Yeah. Well, this show is
that like button if you agree.
Yeah.
I like the show. The show was good.
Show has been good.
I'll tell you what.
Listen, thank God we're entertaining, because we can't do anything else when it comes to sports betting. At least we can make people laugh.
The double play's been great. I think 3-4 days in a row we've swept it.
Thank God I made it a client play yesterday. Clients.
It is $5 Tuesday. Dare I ask if you have anything to promote?
The only people less satisfied than my clients are the ones on the Epstein list.
That was something that maybe have to be edited out post-production. That was uncalled for.
Sorry. Different clients.
I don't want to know. Were they satisfied? I'm not even going to get into that with
At one point they were.
Stop it. More. All right. My camera was off a little bit today. Sorry, I should have adjusted that. You can see my
There you go. Finally you grew up.
Okay, there we go. I apologize for that, everybody. It's there we go. Post-production just simply wants to.
Post-production has been decided.
They just want to ship this video off to the next guy. All right, and with that, we're gonna sign off. It is $5 Tuesday at Wager Talk. I don't know. We're gonna have $5 plays.
I should take it out.
I think
I'll have $5 play.
I'll be honest with you. I think I'm gonna make like $5 a week for tomorrow. WTW. That's gonna be that's what we're doing. And now we're gonna dance. I don't know what the hell. Up is down, left is right.
Yeah.
Cash some tickets.